welcome all of you on behalf of Team Lex Comply. I'd like to thank all of you for your trust, support in making our webinars a great success. I wish that today's session also equally proves relevant as it is a very pertinent topic which is applicable on all packaged items. I hope that we shall be having a great seminar together. We shall be having the webinar on mandatory declarations under Legal Metrology Rules 2011, presented by our eminent speaker, Advocate Rupin Chopra, powered by Lex Comply. Our speaker is an associate partner at an eminent law firm, SS Rana and Company, which is Delhi based, and he is personally having a vast experience of over 11 years serving domestic and multinational corporates on FSSAI, legal metrology, and guidelines on advertisement standards Council of India. I'd like to give you a brief introduction of Lex Comply, which is providing eGRC solutions since 2015, catering over 20,000 satisfied users across 24 geographies. We are hoping and adding much more over years, over months, and over days. Among our bouquet of solutions, our star products, which are compliance management tool, contract management tool, and litigation management tool, are catering to various industries over length and breadth, pan India and international geographies. There is a most innovative and a must try product, lexbuddy.com, which is the largest library of over 1 lakh compliances available on a click. I wish all of you to must try this product, be you are a student or a corporate or a professional. I hope this product will also value our association and would definitely help you in managing your compliances at a click. I'd like all of you to just check your names which is appearing on display of your Zoom, and you may please correct your names because no, on a click link it is available as Harsh Jain. Uh, I would request all of you to make this session a great success. If you have any questions, suggestions, queries, please type it in your chat box so that Mr. Rupin would himself take up your queries and questions. And I hope I'm handing over this session to him to take us through the mandatory declarations under Legal Metrology Rules 2011. Thank you, Rupin. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Pooja, for the lovely introduction about me. And definitely, I have been one of the users of the Lex Comply software, and definitely recommended product and a very well developed product, which is very useful for the corporates and the organizations to manage their compliances. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session today. I highly appreciate you taking out time on a Saturday and joining this session. So to make your life easier, I would keep everything in short and crisp and would try to give you a very good idea about the legal metrology rules, what are the definitions, how can you be called a manufacturer even when you are outsourcing your manufacturing activity, and how do we take care of the compliances therein. So Harsh, do I have the rights control over this PPT, or you would be moving the slides? Yeah, perfect. So we can go on to the next slide, and everyone knows about the Legal Metrology Act. So to avoid any network issues, the Legal Metrology Act 2009, it came into force with the primary intention to give the idea to the public about the product, what they are buying. As you all are aware, that the legal metrology rules lays down certain 8 to 10 declarations, which which must be engrossed on all the packaging of the pre-packaged commodities. The intent is that when a customer is going to a retail sale shop or a supermarket, they should get a fair and a quick and a legitimate idea about the product they are buying. For example, they must know whether the product is an imported product or it is manufactured in India, who is the manufacturer, and in case if they have to complain, which would be the right forum, what email ID they should send an email on, whom they should contact in the organization if they have any issues with the product. So we can go on to the next slide. Yeah. So the objective, as I was saying, is to ensure that public guarantee from the point of view of security and accuracy of the weights and measurements, and a transparent, efficient system which inspires confidence in the trade, industry, and consumers to bring harmonious environment for conducting the business. So next one, please. Can we go on to the next slide, please? Perfect. Thank you so much. So, as I was saying, that the provisions of the legal metrology rules, they apply to all the pre-packaged commodities for retail and wholesale. For example, I have this water bottle in front of me right now by Bisleri. So when I go to the market, it's one of the examples of the pre-packaged commodity. So we don't buy water like in loose here. So the water is always packaged in this bottle and then it is sold. So when I go to the market to buy this bottle, I get to see each and every detail about the manufacturer, about the MRP, about the USP, about the consumer care details. This is manufactured in India, who marketed it, and everything. So my intent of going through these definitions is to provide you more clarity, and I will keep on sharing the same examples here. So the definition of pre-packaged commodity means a commodity which, without a purchaser being present in a package or whatever nature, whether sealed or not, so that the product content has the predetermined quantity. If we do not buy this, if we buy this water bottle, it is of 100 ml right now. So if I'm going to the market to see, I need to see what is the quantity and what is the price I'm buying it. So it gives me an idea that this water bottle is 100 ml only and I have to pay this X amount. So this is one of the examples of a pre-packaged commodity, and it is applicable on almost all the products which are there in the market. Some of the examples could be shoes, footwear, clothing, it's applicable, food products, it is applicable, mobile phones, electronic items, laptops, everything it is applicable. Whenever a product is being sold in a packaged commodity, it definitely becomes applicable. Next slide, please. Okay, but there are few exceptions. So if you are selling commodity which has a quantity of more than 25 kilograms or 25 liters, then you are not required to put all the mandatory declarations on the label. For example, I have put up a picture of a cement and a fertilizer. So they are of 25 kilograms or more, or if it is 25 liters or more. So likewise, cement, fertilizer, and agricultural farm produced and sold in bags above 50 kilograms. And the third, but the most important thing is, whenever you are selling the products for B2B sale, assuming you are doing an outsourced manufacturing for a company, then when the product is kept at your label, at your premises, or if you are doing B2B sales, you know, it is you have manufactured a product and it is going to be displayed, it is going to be used in a factory or in a commercial establishment, then it is not mandatory for you to put all the declaration. But the most important thing which you have to be very sure is that you need to put a disclaimer on your packaging that this product is not for retail sale. Unless you put this disclaimer on a declaration on your label, your product will be considered as a retail package, and then you would be liable to do all the declarations. I have handled the cases in the past wherein the product was meant for only B2B sale. It was to be used in an industrial establishment. But during the visit by the legal metrology officer, it was noted that the product neither had a declaration that it is not meant for retail sale, and it never had 8 to 10 mandatory declarations. So a show cause notice was issued by the legal metrology department, rightly imposed a penalty on it. Next slide, please. A retail package. When I was talking earlier about the B2B sales, now the retail package. So the retail package is any product which is meant for B2C sales in a nutshell. The definition is of course there, everyone can read it. So it is meant in any product which is meant for B2C sales, which are there in the shops. You can go online and buy them by going through all the declarations. I have already shared the examples like a mobile phone, food products, water, shoes, clothing, headwear, and everything it covers the legal metrology under the legal metrology. And whenever you are making a B2C sale, it is considered as a retail package, and you definitely have to adhere to the mandatory declarations. Next slide, please. Whole retail package. Again, we have covered that, and most important thing is it's not essential that if you are not importing the product, or if you are importing the product, you are not required to adhere to the declaration. So even if you are importing your products from a foreign country and putting it on for sale from your store or the store of a third party, you will have to do an additional declaration by putting up the name of the importer on the packaging, as well as mentioning the country of origin. Assuming you are importing coffee from Brazil, then you need to definitely mention country of origin, Brazil, manufacturer, name of the actual manufacturer, and then your name as in the category of the importer. Next one, please. Wholesale package. So wholesale package is when you are selling the products in bulk. Assuming that you can see a full carton of cans of Coca-Cola, which are packaged in huge boxes, and and when you are packaging them in a product which will not be sold by you directly, but will be transported to a retail store, maybe a big supermarket, then it is at that point in time it is considered as a wholesale package. Next one, please. Wholesale dealer is the person who is not directly selling the commodities to any consumer, but it sells the commodity through one or more intermediaries. It essentially involves the large scale industries who are not into retail sale themselves, but they are selling the products through in the market through different dealers or agency. And of course, everyone would know about the retail dealer. These are the regular shops. It includes the online forums, e-commerce websites. They are always considered as a retail dealer as they are selling your products in the market. Next one, please. Mandatory registration. So, not there is still a huge level of non-compliance as far as the mandatory registration is concerned. So, whenever you are starting a business, it's mandate for a business for for manufacture, import, and sale of a pre-packaged commodity, which is meant for the retail sale in the market. I mean the B2C sales. Then it is mandatory under the rules for you to obtain the registration with the legal metrology department within a period of 90 days from the commencement of the business. And in case the registration is not obtained, then you are vulnerable for a penalty by the legal metrology department. And the process is not very difficult. The official fees for getting the registration done is a very nominal amount. And I highly recommend my clients to get this registration as and when they are about to start a new business. And most important thing is there is no concept of renewal in this. So this is a one-time registration and you are done for life. You can list down all your products in one particular application and you would definitely be granted registration by the legal metrology department at the central level. Next one, please. Institutional consumer. I think I have already touched the base in the earlier slides. So the consumer who buys packaged commodities from a manufacturer for use by that industry. So if you are buying, assuming the raw material, maybe a bag of cement, a bag of lights, fans, which you want to use it for your industrial establishment. In that case, you would be referred to as an institutional consumer. But while being an institutional consumer, please do ensure that the products you buy have a declaration that these products are not for retail sale, just to cover up yourself in case an inspection happens at your premises by the legal metrology department and you are not vulnerable to any penalties. Next one, please. Industrial consumer, it means the institution which buys the packaged commodities bearing the declaration not for retail sale. And again, they are going to use it for their own particular establishment and not they are not going to further retail sale it. Next one. So declarations. Here is the most important and the most relevant topic of the today's seminar, and we can go on to the next slide and we can go through the declarations one by one. Name, address of the manufacturer, packer, or importer. It is very essential. Like I have put up 3 examples by different companies who are very categorically adhering to the definition of or using the qualifying words marketed by or packaged by. So if you are manufacturing the products, you have to be very careful that you need to specify the name of the manufacturer, or even if you are a trader, you are not manufacturing the products yourself, you must ensure that the name of the manufacturer with the complete address is specified on your labels. And when I say the complete address, I mean including the PIN code. You have to mention all the 6 digits of the PIN code on the labels. So you don't like my office is located with the PIN code 110017. So I always have to write in detail about the PIN code, 6-digit PIN code. I cannot simply write New Delhi 17 because I have seen the legal notices from the department and they consider it as an incomplete address. Next one. Country of origin. This is primarily applicable on the products which are meant for which are imported into India. So you need to categorically mention country of origin. That is the name of the country from where you are getting the products. So, but country of origin is not required to be mentioned when you are manufacturing the product or sourcing your products from India only. Unless you are importing it, you have to mention the products. I have given a few examples, like you can see, country of origin is Thailand, made in United Arab Emirates, country of origin is Egypt. So be very categorical about putting the country of origin on your products if you are importing them. Next one, please. Yeah. So when you are saying the common or the generic name of the product, it's very important. Again, these are the mandatory declarations and we cannot avoid mentioning it. So whatever product you're manufacturing, I have given few examples like skin cream, necklace, tomato-based soup, sugar boiled confectionery, coffee, tea, all these words, even green tea, you all have to mention the common or the generic name of your product on the labels. Next one, please. Net quantity. Again, when a consumer is going to the market, they need to understand how much quantity of the product they are buying. Like in common parlance, we go to the market and we say we need 1 kg of wheat, we need 500 ml of Pepsi, we need like when we go even to the stores of Marks and Spencers, you will see that 2 to 3 shirts are packaged in one package in one big bag. So when you see their package, it says net quantity 2 or 3. It's very important because otherwise the consumer will not be able to make the right choice, especially when it comes to the food products. And because people, they consume food products depending upon their quantity. It's very essential that the net quantity of the product in whatever grams, kilograms, liters, milliliters, they all are specified on the labels. Next one, please. Declaration 5, date of manufacture. This is very important. The date of the manufacturer is definitely one of the major non-compliances when I see the products which are there in the market. So whenever we manufacture a product, we import it or we are trading it, the date of the manufacturer plays a very pivotal role, especially in case of the food products. because food products, they have a limited shelf life. So the consumer should be aware what is the remaining life of that food product and what is the time line within which they have to consume it, otherwise their product will become stale. It is not that I am saying it is applicable only on food products, it is applicable on every commodity for on which the shelf life of the product is relevant, including the skincare also. So next one, please. Best before or used by. These are normally in common parlance. People often confuse between best before or used by date. When we read the label of the product on which says best before, it means that the product is best to be consumed before a particular date and can still be consumed after the best before date also. The product is not becoming stale, but the use by date means that's the deadline by which you have to consume the product. After that, the product will no longer be fit for consumption by the end consumer. So depending upon the nature of your product, you either have to mention the best before or use by date. And of course, if you're manufacturer of a mobile phone, you don't have to mention it. This is again dependent upon the nature of the product you are manufacturing or importing or trading into. Next one. MRP. Again, MRP is very important when you are selling the products in the market. MRP has to be specified in detail, and the qualifying words MRP rupees X, inclusive of all taxes, has to be mentioned on the product by you. And USP, it's a new amendment. So USP also, the unit sale price of the product, like I have given an example here, the MRP of the product is rupees 5 and the USP is 0.14 rupees per gram. These are the two most important compliances when it comes to the product, your sale of the product, because it is the starting point for any sale, especially the Indian consumers. The first question which triggers in the mind of the consumer is the price of that particular product. Next one, please. Dimensions of the commodity. So if you are manufacturing a product where the dimension of the product is relevant, then you definitely have to mention the dimensions of the product. For example, I have handled a case wherein my client is the manufacturer of ropes. So the dimension of the rope in the centimeters has to be mentioned on the product. Likewise, for the wooden planks, it has to be mentioned on the labels of the product. Next one, please. Declaration 9. When we are consumer complaint, this is one of the very common notices which I come across every time when any of my clients receive the legal notice from the legal metrology department. So the precise designation, of course, I do understand putting the name of one particular person on the package is going to be a tedious task. In that case, you need to mention the designation of the customer care executive, the address, telephone number, and the email address. All these four things have to categorically be mentioned on your products. Like in the example I have given, in case of complaint, please contact customer care executive at the address of importer or write to consumer relations on this email ID, and the phone number is also categorically given. So sometimes I have seen that this is the most common non-compliance which I have observed while handling the cases for my clients. Next one. Unit sale price. So I think I have already discussed this. Came into foray I think earlier this year or last year in late 2022, wherein it is mandatory that the unit sale price of the products should be specified on the labels. So if you are manufacturing a quantity, assuming if you are selling something in 500 grams and it has different units involved, then you need to give them the per unit cost of the product. So declarations on the wholesale packages, we have already discussed what the wholesale package is there. So manufactured by, it would be a reputation. Manufactured by, of course, has to be there on the retail sale packages and the wholesale packages, both of them. Again, the same manner of writing, full PIN code, the 6-digit PIN code, I need to say, not the 2-digit PIN code. Next one. Identity of the commodity, again similar to the generic name of the product, like cashew kernels. All these things, identity have to be specified on the wholesale packages as well, like in the case of retail packages. Next one. Total number of retail packages contained. Since we discussed about the example of Coca-Cola, so in that case, you need to mention net quantity is 2N. If you're or net quantity 24 cans into 250 ml. So it gives your buyer the idea that they are buying 24 cans of 250 ml each, or the quantity, what quantity is there, 10 numbers. The quantity has to be specified on the wholesale packages as well. Next one, please. Principal display panel. Now we have already discussed about the various declarations which must be mentioned on the retail and wholesale packages. Principal display panel is the place where all the declarations have to be grouped together and embossed on the packaging of your products. This is what in one of the examples is the principal when you go rotate your food packages in the market, you will see all this information is affixed on group. They are grouped together and put up on the backside of your product, where the customer can go all these declarations and give them a more definite choice to buy your product. So it is very essential that all these things are grouped together on the principal display panel, and it should not be scattered at different places. So it should not happen that 4 declarations are there on the front of the packaging, 2 on the side, and 4 on the last page. So please ensure that all these things are grouped together. Next one. Again, so taking forward the principal display panel size, it's not it's very important that we display the declarations on a legitimate size. For example, if your area of principal display panel in square centimeters is less than 50 square centimeters, then the minimum height of your numerals and letters in millimeters should be at least 1 millimeter. And this is the table. Of course, you all can go through it. We'll be happy to share afterwards. It's very, I have taken it from the Legal Metrology Rules itself. So you have to be very sure, because I have seen the notices wherein the Legal Metrology department issued a show cause notice because the certain sizing, as you can see on your screen, they were not in compliance. So even if you're putting all the declarations, but if you are not complying to these sizing requirements, then also you are vulnerable for getting a notice from the Legal Metrology department. Next one. Area, size of the letter, this is how you calculate. So if you want to understand what should be your size of the principal display panel, so if you are selling it as a rectangular package, where one side can be properly considered to be principal display panel, the product of the height multiplied by the width of that side. So the height multiplied by the width would be considered as your principal display panel. Likewise, for a cylindrical, it's 40% of if your package is a cylindrical one. So 40% of your height multiplied by the circumference would be considered as a principal display panel. And in case of any other shape product other than rectangular or cylindrical, then 40% of the total surface of a package or any area considered to be principal display panel. So again, it's as I was saying, all that information has to be grouped together on a principal display panel, and it should not be scattered at 3-4 different places. Otherwise, your consumer would find it difficult to locate the declarations on your product, and essentially they may or may not buy the products later on. Next one, please. Penalties. I don't enjoy talking much about it, but here is the list of the penalties which can be imposed for non-compliances, which are there for example, for the declaration. If it is compounding for the retailer, so if the trader is doing it, they are liable for a penalty of rupees 5,000. And if it is the compounding is been done by the manufacturer or importer, so you are vulnerable to get a penalty of 25,000 rupees. And it's very important when I would roll back myself about when I was talking about the mandatory registration. So even if you have obtained the registration, there is another concept of getting a director nominated with the legal metrology department. It essentially implies that if there is a non-compliance, not all the board of directors would be liable for the criminal prosecution. So only one nominated director would be liable for the prosecution there. And even the legal metrology department, if there is no director nomination, they would multiply the penalties. For example, if a board of director has two directors of a private limited company, then the penalty would be calculated at 75,000 rupees and not 25,000 rupees, because they would be considering entity as one and two directors. So in total, there would be three entities which would be penalized. So 25 into 3 would be 75,000. So it's the best option to always get a director nominated to save all the board of directors from getting criminal prosecution, because it's a criminal offense. For not for the regular offenses from the third or second or third non-compliance, it becomes a criminal prosecution. Next one, please. Nuts and bolts, just to sum up today's seminar. So legal metrology rules are applicable to imported packages as well as the domestically manufactured packages. Affixing of individual stickers giving individual information is absolutely prohibited. So you cannot print a sticker by the manufacturer, put it on the product, print 5-6 different stickers and keep putting on the product. It's absolutely prohibited. Even if, and then if you want to, apart from these 9 to 10 declarations, if you want to give additional information, feel free to do that. You are not prohibited from giving additional information about your product. Mandatory registration is to be done within 90 days. Declarations must appear on principal display panel. Maintain the sizing guidelines. Declarations should be legible and prominent. No declarations shall be made so as to require it to be read through liquid commodity. No declarations on the inner packages in case the outer package contains all the declarations. The particulars of the declaration shall either be in Hindi or English, and if you want to put it in any other vernacular language, you are free to do that. It's not prohibited at all. These are the few nuts and bolts which I wanted to share. Next one. Registered importer is responsible in case of imported packages. Loose commodities are not covered under the rules. Consumer care details, we have discussed that. Unit sale price, the unit sale price is not required on the wholesale packages. It shall exclude the additional commodity which is being provided. So if you are giving any gift to your customer or any commodity which are free of cost, then you are not required to put the unit sale price for that. Your unit sale price is not required on the packages that are offered free with the other packages. So in case your product is bound by the other laws of relating to the cosmetics, by the CDSCO or the FSSAI, you will have to take care of those as well along with the legal metrology department. And in case there is a conflict in the provisions of the any other law with this law, then that particular law will prevail on your package. Next one. So this is about a brief profile of our law firm, and now I am open to taking up any questions. So if you have any questions right now, I would be more than happy to answer. So Harsh, do we have any questions right now?
Yes, Rupin.
Yes.
We have a question from Dhruval Patel.
Right.
That their company is having would be required to have multiple registration for multiple factories, or will one registration will help all the factories?
Thank you so much for that, Dhruv. You have a very good question here, Dhruvel. So I confirm that one registration is suffice for all your factories, but ensure while filing the application, the details of all the factories are specified in your application so that all the addresses are specified on the registration certificate as well. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, Rupin. We have another question from Mr. Sachin Bhola, and he wants to know that there is a recent amendment with respect to QR code. So a lot of people are confused as to how to use it, and can we incorporate all the mandatory declarations in the QR code?
you can definitely include all the declarations on the QR code, but I'll have to go and check. There was a specific deadline which was a relaxation was involved with which was offered earlier. So I'll have to circle back upon how what by when it is allowed. So I'll have to circle back on that to Mr. Sachin Gola.
All right. There is another question from Sachin himself that for the companies offering products through website, what or compliances need to be kept in mind?
Right. So Sachinji, in that case, there is an additional compliance for the wherein you have to put all the details as per the e-commerce rules 2020 on your website. So the legal metrology department is keeping a check on on the websites of the companies to ensure that all the declarations are there. So 15 to 20 different tasks have been given in those compliances have been given in the e-commerce rules, which you have to essentially put on your website. For example, the delivery date by when the product is likely to be delivered to your customer who is buying your product through your website. It has to be specified on your website. I'll be happy to guide you for that. And additionally, from the e-commerce rules, you have to continue to ensure that your product is compliant to the declarations of the legal metrology rules as well.
Thank you, Rupin. There is another question from Anand Doot that can we put two different MRP on the same product for two different markets? Say rupees 700 in Maharashtra and rupees 750 in Punjab.
No, it is not advisable to do that because you will have to adhere to the state-specific pricing to that. Otherwise, your consumer will get confused. Your product might be, you might be selling your product in Punjab, but it might be traded back to Delhi or in Maharashtra. Then it will become a huge problem for you, and otherwise also it would not be a good practice as it will confuse your customers, and it will also, might be problematic for from the business perspective because the customers will definitely see your companies, your competitors will definitely get to know your selling strategy in different states. So if I'm your competitor, I will get to know that you are, or if I'm in Punjab, I very well know that you are selling the product for 500 in Punjab, but 700 in Maharashtra. And if I want to penetrate in Maharashtra, I will offer some discount or I will start selling my product at a lesser price than you in Maharashtra to gather that market from me or to take away that market from you. So it is not advisable to do that.
Thank you. There is another question from Vaibhav Pasrija, and he wants to know that just let me take his
Right.
first question. That do we need to modify the registration if we add new products or our product line?
Yes, definitely you need to file a request for amendment of your registration with the legal metrology department, and then the legal metrology department will issue you another certificate, a fresh certificate with the new products added to the certificate and the list of the products in your certificate. So it's very important that you should do it. So I think then someone has asked a question. So what about the popcorns that has been in the theaters? Do we have anything to follow under the legal metrology department? I will. It's a very important and a very valid question because there is a slight gap there, which is there in the law. Because when you are going to buy the popcorns, they are not in a pre-packaged commodity. So they are manufacturing the popcorns in front of you and then selling it. I will have to circle back on that question. Pooja, should I take the next question? I can see that I'm reading the questions right now. So should I take it up?
Yes, Rupin, you can do that.
Right. Because I can see Harsh, is that you putting up the questions or?
So we have a question from Weber.
Okay.
So it is if we are selling refurbished products, then we need to obtain registrations under legal manufacturing?
It depends about what kind of labeling you are putting on the products or how you want your consumers to perceive it. So in the definition itself, a manufacturer has been defined as the person who is either manufacturing the product himself at his manufacturing plant or if he is buying the products from a third party, getting his products manufactured through outsourced manufacturer, and then putting his label on the product. In both cases, you would be considered as the manufacturer. And even if you are selling refurbished product, the essence here is you are going to retail sale that product. So if you are retail selling that product, then definitely you need to mention all the declarations, and you need to also categorically inform the consumers via declaration that this is a refurbished product. Okay.
Then we have another question from Weber only. If we are selling packaged food products, do we need to register and comply for both FSSAI and legal metrology?
Yes, you need to comply with both of them. You need to get registration with both the authorities.
Then one more query from Mr. Anand Nath. The label containing the basis information about product code, MRP, lot number, etc. should have printed one or can put printed label on the C-label cartoon.
I have to, this is question by, I have to read that question once.
This is from Anandnath Khairnar. The label containing the basis information about product code, MRP, lot number, etc. should have printed one or can put printed label on the C-label carton.
If there is one sticker, I think the question is either you get the products imprinted, printed on a sticker and put it on your label, because if you are importing the products, for example, if you are importing the products, your manufacturer in the foreign country would have already printed his details. Now when your product comes to India, you need to mention all the details by putting up your sticker on the product. And otherwise, if you are getting the product, the declarations imprinted on the packaging itself, nothing like it. But of course, please do ensure that you adhere to the requirement and the sizing requirements of the principal display panel.
Thank you, Rupin. Then we have a query. Are we have to print the declaration on the package, or stickers including all the declarations shall be fine?
Printing on, so you have, sticker. So if you're putting sticker, it has to be one sticker, and you need to put up in that way that it should not easily come off. Otherwise, it will be non-compliant. But I always advise my client to have the declarations printed on the pack, get all the declarations printed on the packaging, so that the sticker does not get removed and you are not vulnerable to any kind of a notice from the legal metrology. So it's always good to have the declarations imprinted on the label itself rather than putting up sticker. And if you really want to put up the sticker, ensure it's one sticker and not multiple stickers, because if you are putting up multiple stickers, and it's definitely a non-compliance, and even if your one sticker comes off on its own or someone removes it, it will be a non-compliance. And sticker, the challenge with the sticker from the business perspective is, if you are manufacturing the product, giving it to the dealer, he might remove that sticker and put up his own sticker on that. It might be a problem from the business angle at that point in time.
Okay. Thank you, Rupin. Then we have Mr. Bhushan, who is seeking clarification on MRP label font appearance, which is a gray area in LM rule. The said rule does not specify anything on font appearance. For example, font should appear in lowercase or uppercase or proper case. Currently, in our scenario, in order to avoid penalties, we are using uppercase, but still no clarity.
I think Mr. Bhushan has categorically pointed out already himself that there is no clarity there. But I don't foresee any issue if you are putting up in a lowercase or an uppercase. The intent of the law is that you should put up in a manner which your customer can easily go through it, read it. So even if you're putting it in an uppercase or a lowercase, as long as you are adhering to the sizing requirement, your customer and the information is very clearly written on it, in whatever case it is, it's absolutely fine.
Okay. Then date of expiry and batch number is mandatory or not?
It's mandatory. It's definitely mandatory. Batch number, it comes from if you're manufacturer of the food product, it comes from the compliance under the FSSAI. If otherwise, if the batch number is not legit here, if your product is not does not require batch number, it's fine if you don't put it. But if it's a food product or your product is liable, it requires adherence to any other law, then please ensure that you put up the batch number.
Thank you, Rupin. Then we have Weber with us, who is asking about we outsource our manufacturing to the contractor, then who is required to obtain registration, contractor or principal manufacturer?
It entirely depends upon how do you want to put up, how do you want to show your product to your customer. So if you do not, most of the companies, they do not want to give the details about their outsourced manufacturer, so that to avoid their competitors getting to know about from whom you are getting your products manufactured. So in that case, if you are putting the name of your manufacturer on the label, then the manufacturer is required to obtain the registration. On the contrary, if you are getting the product manufactured through a third party, but you are acknowledging yourself as a manufacturer, then you are required to obtain the legal metrology registration.
Then we have Mr. Sanjay, who is asking how can we fulfill all these details on wrapper for our product if there is small packaging and space constraint? Is there any method to raise requests for this?
Sanjay ji, what I'll do is you can contact Harsh after this call. I will share with him. I think there is a provision wherein if your product is of a certain very small size, then there is no, then only limited declarations have to be mentioned. But if your product is higher than that particular size, you will be required to mention all the declarations on your product, and there is no way out of there.
Then Sanjeev ji is asking, do we have required registration when our product sale is not direct to end customers that we are OEM supplier?
Again, there is no specific, clarity under the law there, because the law says it's not, the legal metrology rules are not applicable for the products meant for the industrial customer. So prima facie, I don't think that registration would be mandatory.
Then we have another question. Any modification made in the imported goods and sold further, whether such modifications will be considered as manufacturing activity to be declared under the declaration of manufactured by or instead imported and marketed by?
If you are importing the products and making a change to it to the extent that you are changing the properties of that product entirely, supposing you are importing raw cashew peanuts from a foreign country and then you are processing it to make the foreign product, in that case, this particular activity in India would be considered as manufacturing, and your product will be considered as a domestic product, and you will be required to specify yourself as the manufacturer.
Okay. Thank you, Rupin. Then can e-commerce platform like Amazon and others are also liable in case of non-compliance of legal metrology rule?
They can be made a party to the show cause notice, but of course, even if they are, even if they receive the notice, the chances of them getting, criminal prosecuted, they are very less, and I don't think it will happen soon. Even if they are going to ask you to indemnify them. So it's so in any case, you will definitely be liable yourself. Amazon may or may not be, but you will definitely be liable for non-compliance.
Okay. Then Varun is asking that one of his client is importing mobile phones and work as job workers and then sells it to the brand owners who sell to the final consumers. So is LMA applicable to them?
Definitely, again, if you are importing the product and then you are slightly changing the packaging of the product, you are putting up your label on the product, definitely the Legal Metrology Act will be applicable.
Then Nirmal is asking, once we get LM certificate in the expiry, I think the question has been removed by them. Okay.
No, actually, I have write an
Okay.
answer that it is valid for lifetime.
It's a one-time registration.
Validity of and renewal. So I said this is valid for lifetime. Yes, Harsh.
Ma'am, I think the questions are over. There are no more questions around it.
Okay. Can you quickly take us through Lex Buddy portal wherein, okay, somebody is saying that its question is not answered.
Which particular question?
Yeah, let me just take.
Harsh Jan is said has mentioned that.
Yeah. Okay. He wants to know that is MRP can be printed on sticker and paste on carton box?
No, not only the MRP only cannot be done that. The complete label, the complete details have to be specified, not only the MRP sticker. Otherwise, it's a non-compliance for sure.
Okay. Next is that I have two questions. Okay. Can you deal with spacing requirements of quantity declaration in accordance with Rule 8?
I can deal with it, so that's not a trouble with that. So, if the question is, can I handle that? Can I help them for understanding and ensuring the compliance is done properly? Yes, my answer is definitely yes. Was that the question, Pooja?
Yeah, one pardon.
So I can definitely deal. The question was, can you deal? I can, yes. Can you deal with spacing requirements from Harshan? Yes, I can deal with that.
All right. All right.
Okay, I think Harsh, your questions have been answered now.
Yes, Rupen, all the questions have been answered now.
One more question on red and green dots over shampoos, toothpaste, and other toiletries, but it is seldom done. So this is somebody is asking that this is not done, but there is a requirement.
Then definitely there will, if there is a requirement and someone is not adhering to the law, then of course they are vulnerable for an action by legal metrology department. Any other question, Harshji? Okay.
First, can you take us through Lex Buddy portal where we can find legal metrology part?
Definitely, ma'am. So, hi everyone. I would like to introduce LexBuddy, your compliance research solution, wherein you have the access of 1700 plus Indian laws, covering 1 lakh compliances with its real-time updates and form repository. So, if you wish to know more about Legal Metrology app, you can just visit lexbuddy.com and select Compliance Closet, wherein you have the access of all the acts like this. And pan-India states are available. So if I select Delhi like this,
Harsh, please share your screen. It is not visible.
okay, let me just share it again. Give me a second, please. Is it visible now?
Not to me.
Ma'am, is it now visible?
No.
Rupen, are you able to see my screen? Ma'am, it is showcasing me that my screen is getting shared actually.
Well, fair enough. It is available for attendees.
So if I click on solution for you like this, we have compliance closet over here. Then if you click on this, you can select states or central acts like this. Now, if I select Delhi over here and legal metrology app, like this, and click on submit, you have the whole checklist of the compliances like this over here. Let me just brief you about the checklist. So over here, there is a type of compliance, then its subsection, rule scheme, then the description of the compliance. Then we have compliance type, either it is one time, event based, ongoing, or due date based. Then we have also mentioned the criticalities around it. Either it is low, medium, high, and high. The criterias are: low is monetary impact below 10,000. Medium is between 10 to 50,000, 10 to 50,000, and high is imprisonment issues, operational issues, and monetary impact above 50,000. Now, for example, if I want to know about some intimations, so I can just type the keyword like this, and all the intimation related compliance will appear to me like this. And if I click on view button, as you can see, in a very structured manner, you will be able to have the access of all the related details about that compliance, like compliance description, criticalities, due dates, applicabilities, exemptions, if any, penal provisions, key definitions, statutory agency name, and very more important thing is whether you can perform this compliance online or not. It will also be mentioned over here. Then if I click on go to library, you will have all the access to the relevant forms required, which can be downloaded from the library itself. Plus, whenever there is any notifications, press releases, circulars that has been issued by the government, it gets updated into the system. And if I click on the view button, you have the access of the library like this, which can also be downloaded. So if you have any queries around it, you can feel free to ask for the Lex Buddy.
Thank you, Harsh.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, participants, and thank you, Rupin,
Thank you,
you all
everyone.
for attending this informative session wherein Rupin took us precisely to the registrations, validity, exemptions, declarations, penalty. And thank you, attendees, for such an interactive, informative session, for having so many questions, which made us feel very humbled. And we are honored that you've been very live and you've been very interactive in the session throughout. And I'd like to share, Harsh would be sharing the PPT to all the people, and we would see if any question and answer if remain unanswered, we shall be getting back to you soon. And thank you everyone for this session.
Thank you everyone for your time today. I really enjoyed sharing my knowledge on the legal metrology rules, and we would be always happy to guide you further if required. Thank you so much for attending this session, and thank you so much Pooja and Harsh for organizing this session. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rupin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye everyone.